Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Colony Drop, a Gundam podcast. My name is Brian.
And my name is Isaac. This is your favorite Gundam podcast where we talk about really anything and everything that is Gundam. From the anime series and movies to the music that's in the intros and outros, Gunpla, aka Gundam models, to the lore, the ideas, anything and everything that is about Gundam. Brian.
That's right, Isaac, and today is another edition of what is now becoming an annual tradition, the Colony Drop Gundam Holiday Special, Isaac.
Wow. What are you doing today, Brian?
Every year, listeners, we are going to create holiday-themed Gundams for your listening pleasure. So to remind our listeners, last year, Isaac, do you remember what you came up with?
A little bit. I remember definitely a lump of coal Gundam, I think.
Yes.
Also, there was Menorah Gundam. Or no, sorry, Dreidel Gundam.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't remember much.
So you also came up with elf miniature mobile suits.
Of course. Little bit goons. Okay,
Yeah.
Sure.
And then you also had Manger Force.
Of course. Gundam Manger Force.
How do you not remember Gundam Manger Force?
You know what? After the birth of the Lord, the Manger was really in the rearview mirror if you think about it. You'd think that they would take those animals with them on their journey, right? For being so silent while King Herod's troops were scouring the countryside. But no, they were left behind in the manger.
Yes. And last year I came up with the Dual Yule, which was just a crappy Dual Gundam.
As befitting for Dual.
Exactly.
It was an improvement.
We also had Christmas Lights Freedom Gundam.
Of course.
The Gingerbread Leo.
Oh, God. It crumbles even faster.
It's all the more true now that we've rewatched / watched Gundam Wing this year. So
all it takes is a good spray of milk to begin destroying the Gingerbread Leo.
It just dissolves in space. I had the Candy Cane Impulse and the Master Gundam Santa Claus and Sleigh. So last year, Isaac, I feel like I didn't lean enough into the Christmas theme or the holiday theme, so I think I leaned in harder, more along the lines of what you did last year this year. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this holiday special.
You could almost say you're dreaming of a white reflection Christmas.
Oh, zing.
Ding, 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 ding. There goes Hero running around for Toys for Tots or something.
All right, Isaac, shall we get started? I understand that you have 4 on your list.
I put in my energy into 4 concepts.
Okay.
Not 5. 4.
All right. Well, I have 5, so I'll go first so that I can bookend it. Once again, Isaac, we will go from lamest to most awesome, or whatever our scale is.
No, Brian, I forgot. Your scale is like boring to awesome.
Yeah. Boring to awesome, yes.
It's B to A. Okay.
Okay, so number 1 on my list is something that I tried to do something with last year, and I couldn't really come up with a good one, but I think I got it this year. It's a little better. So number 5 on my list, I guess I'll say, is Frosty the Snowman Gundam.
Wow.
Yeah, come on. Frosty the Snowman, this is inspired by the old Frosty the Snowman song, which I'm sure everybody knows. Frosty the Snowman, he was very, half, whatever. Well, clearly I don't remember
Brian,
the words.
Please continue. I insist, for our listeners who maybe are unfamiliar with the wonder of Frosty the Snowman and Christmas magic.
He was a holly jolly, something like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? He had a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. So there you go. The listeners, I assume you've all heard of Frosty the Snowman. So we're going to make a Gundam out of him today. So, Isaac, I went back and I looked at the Frosty the Snowman from the cartoon that was probably around, 30 years ago or so. Not very inspiring. So I think I want him to look a little more evil, more like the Clay Fighter version.
Holy shit.
Of the Snowman. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There was like this early 90s game that had an evil snowman in it as a fighter option.
That's right. And he had these large eyes. And I think that changes his demeanor very much from happy-go-lucky snowman to just evil-looking snowman. That's kind of what I'm going for this. But I don't want him to have legs, Isaac, because I want him to be more like a snowman. I feel like if you put legs on him, he's not so much a snowman anymore.
He just hovers around on like a VTOL system.
Yeah. So the bottom half of him, his bottom like snowball is gonna be like BB-8, and that's how he's gonna roll around on the battlefield.
Uh-huh.
So again, if you listen to the song, he's got buttons, I think, down his torso.
Yeah.
Those are gonna pop out to reveal Gatling guns.
Wow. May I ask why you chose Gatling guns in the spirit of Christmas?
I don't know. It's just he's got to have some offensive prowess here.
You know what? I'll go a step further and throw you a bone a bit, because as we all know, Gatling guns are usually mounted in like the main unit, right? Like they're always on the shoulders or the head, somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to put them in the torso. Plenty of transformation room there. And you know what? Look, to make you happy, maybe it'll shoot ice bullets or something.
Or like the the tracers.
Oh, the tracer rounds. There you go.
The tracer rounds are only red and green.
I also thought that snow hands were not so exciting, so I wanted to go with like stick hands.
Oh, it's so sinister, right?
Yeah. I just think that's terrifying.
Like those horrible things Jack Skellington has.
Yes, exactly. If you've ever gone down, if everyone's ever been to Disneyland, and there's in the Haunted Mansion, there's this part where you go down and there's all these terrifying looking trees. Like I want some hands from those trees. On his nose, typically Frosty is either depicted with a button nose or a carrot nose. So I think if it's a carrot nose, you can make the carrot a missile, and fires out.
Wow. I didn't even think of that. Okay, that's pretty great.
He also needs his top hat, Isaac.
Of course.
So I think the top hat could open up and fire long-range missiles.
I like that.
And then he could also throw his hat like Oddjob from James Bond.
Like Oddjob. Or like a Captain America that wears his hat.
Yes,
or Kung
exactly.
Lao from Mortal Kombat. Is there like a V crest on the hat, or is this not like a Gundam specified mobile suit? It's just villainous suit.
Yeah, sure. We could put a V fin on the top hat. I'm all for that. He can melt himself and then reform himself. Maybe underneath he just has like a full stick skeleton.
Oh, wow.
And then I was trying to think up something to do with the corncob pipe, because he's always depicted with a pipe. So I was thinking maybe he could smoke the pipe and then that would produce after images.
Nice. Very deceptive.
That's my attempt at a Frosty the Snowman Gundam. Is that too terrifying to be a good guy Gundam?
I was about to commend you for creating such a villainous mobile suit for the Gundam Holiday Special.
I'm a little nervous that everything I came up with is a bad guy.
I mean, that's kind of good, though. That's in, though. Like, we're the Nightmare Before Christmas generation. So we're used to our holiday being a bit darker, right?
Okay.
Along with our world, unfortunately.
Yeah. So maybe he'll be a good guy. He'll just be a little jaded and have like a raspy voice.
He'll be edgy. He'll be the anti-hero, right? Right, yeah. Like, my heart's as frozen as my mobile suit's armor.
Frosty does what Santa doesn't.
Let me ask a tech question, though.
Sure.
So is it like a skeletal frame that's able to... It generates such cold around it that creates the snow that's attached to the frame? Or is it not actually snow? It's more just, it looks like snow, but it's actually just, some type of armored plating.
I think it has to be some sort of snow-based thing in order for it to melt and reform, right?
Of course.
Maybe we'll say that it just fuses ice crystals in a very elaborate manner to create very hard armor. So that's my nonsensical science explanation.
I like this so much. If you're an enterprising and creative listener, sketch it up. Let's take a look.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
Drop a link to your sketch in the comments. Either it's on, Imgur or DeviantArt or something like that, whatever. Or your Instagram, social. Yeah.
I love it. All right, Isaac, let's hear number 4 on your list.
All right, number 4, and this is the weakest pun, and forgive me ahead of time for using it, but just hear me out. It's Gundam X-MAS. I hope this hasn't been used before. I mean, this is such a low-hanging fruit, name-wise, but hear me out. So instead of the X cannon, which can destroy colonies, what it has is an Eve cannon that only works on Christmas Eve.
Ooh.
And it fills a colony with Christmas cheer, Brian. Oh,
this is way too wholesome to be an Isaac creation.
I think we kind of switched hats. Maybe like...
Oh, man.
Well, you have to hear the rest of my list, too, before you jump to conclusions. But to an extent, we did kind of switch hats, right? Because, I don't know. We know each other too well, so we decided to try on each other's hat for one holiday season.
How does it fill them with holiday cheer? Does it shoot presents?
No, so like everyone in the colony is like freaking out, right? They see the Gundam and like they see the cannon. Obviously, it's powering up, you know. And they're like, "Holy shit, that thing's aiming at us!" So there's like panic in the colony, and then the beams like starts heading towards the colony. You know, maybe they threw out like their crappy little mono eyes at it, but they're useless, or whatever capital ships they have. The beam hits the colony. It doesn't penetrate it or anything. Instead, it like fills it with like light. And, you know, everybody feels like warmth and joy, and everybody just starts hugging and like giving each other gifts and stuff. You know, people invite each other into each other's homes to like, you know, everybody eats and cooks and bakes together. It's great.
So, but wait, does the beam actually cause that, or is the joy just felt because they didn't die?
No, the beam actually causes that.
Oh, okay.
Because if you didn't die, I think you would assume, all right, the beam clearly missed. So we still need to evacuate the colony.
But isn't this like when if you like lose your parachute while you're skydiving and you die from a heart attack rather than, you know, hitting the floor?
Oh, so you're thinking that like inexplicably some people will still die?
Yeah,
from like, the sheer panic of a beam weapon being fired at the colony.
Absolutely.
I mean, I didn't think about it that far. Well, that raises more questions, Brian. Like, so how many people died during like colony combat? Is it a lot?
Probably.
What's your percentage of people that like died because of the colony attacks or a battle in a colony, but not actually from like, you know, a bullet or a beam or anything like that, a collapsed building?
I would say it's not insignificant, right? Because if you're living in that colony and all of a sudden a hole erupts, like fairly near you.
You got me there. And also, like, it's one thing to be in a colony and, you know, a couple of factions are battling it out, right? You can, as we've discussed before, you can blow a hole or even multiple holes in a colony and you can still go about your business. You know, you don't really notice until things start getting bad.
Right.
But if you're aware of what the Gundam X is and you know it's pointed at your colony, you probably would go into panic, right?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. I mean, that guy's going to fire at you and it's going to hit you very soon.
Yeah, it's the one weapon that's like, it's guaranteed to destroy the colony.
Are there any color modifications to the Gundam X?
I like the idea that it's very much a duplicate of the Gundam X, but once, you know, the X unfolds and all that, maybe it takes on Christmas colors.
Okay.
Yeah. The beam makes a very jingly noise. Yeah. As it races across space.
And you know what? Sound travels slower than light. So
so it's even more horrifying.
Yeah. So the beam is like, when it gets there, it's going to be silent and they're not going to know if they die, and then they don't die, right? And then a few seconds later, they'll get hit by the sound of, you know, jingle bells or whatever, and they'll realize like, oh, it was just the Gundam X-MAS.
There'll be 2.5 seconds where everyone thinks the afterlife is like jingle bells.
I have to see this in master grade form, Isaac. I want to see someone make a Christmas version.
We'll do it. We'll do it one day. All right, Brian, what's your number 2?
All right. My next one on my list is the Abominable Gundam, or the Yeti Gundam.
Wow.
I was thinking back to my childhood, Isaac, of things that I like to watch during the holiday season. And of course, everyone has to have seen the classic 1964 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer TV movie, where one of the antagonists, I'll call him, is the Abominable Snow Monster of the North, aka the Bumble. And he's basically a Yeti. I assume that you've seen this, Isaac. This is like the claymation-ish kind of one.
Yes, and may I say, on behalf of everybody that grew up seeing this, that noise that the Bumble makes before you can even see it is horrifying.
Especially if you're a child.
That's like the definition of like a monster noise, right?
Absolutely. Before
the iconic T-Rex from Jurassic Park, there was the Bumble. And like as soon as you heard that, you immediately knew what it was.
Gadzooks! The Bumble Snow Monster of the North strikes again!
Yeah, I mean, look, this guy's basically a Yeti. When you hear Yeti, Isaac, what do you think of? I think of two things. I think of the Bumble from this movie, and then I also think of like the Yeti on the Matterhorn in Disneyland.
Exactly that, yeah. Just the mythological Himalayan pale white fur-covered ape. It's also somehow inexplicably monstrous and enjoys pursuing humans.
That's right. Yeah, so if you've never seen that, people, It's exactly that. It's sort of a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch that has white hair and sort of maybe more exaggerated claws and eyes and fangs. And it's in terms of turning him into a Gundam, I'm thinking, Isaac, this would be like Gundam's version of the Hulk. So he's going to have no real ranged weapons. He's just going to be impervious to basically everything and kind of able to melee his way through all forces. I picture him much larger than a normal mobile suit, probably twice as tall, or at least 1.5 times as tall. You know, supposedly Bigfoot / Sasquatch / Yeti is supposed to be around anywhere from like 7 to 12 feet tall. That's almost twice as tall as a human. So if we keep that ratio in mobile suits, I think that'd work. It'd be real thick, with broad shoulders, Isaac. I have a question, though.
Oh, boy.
Yetis, they have hair, right? They're always depicted with hair. How does hair work on a Gundam? How do we translate that? Does that just shiny white armor that looks like hair, or would it be real hair that's on top of armor?
It could be like this mobile suit, I think, from Gundam X that kind of had leg warmers.
Oh, yeah, I remember
So
that
it's
one.
like, you kind of hand wave it as, yes, it's clothing, but like, we're going to say it's, I don't know, thermal contact armor. Something we can hand wave like that, just like Crossbone Gundam had capes.
Yeah. True.
So, well, we can make it work. We can make for it work somehow.
Okay. It's got to have sharp claws, sharp fangs. Something that Yetis and Sasquatches are known for is to have this sort of ability to stun people through something that some animals have called infrasound. So maybe he has like this EMP attack that could disable other mobile suits, and then he can just kind of thrash on them. So yeah, he's basically just like the beater of the team.
Wow. The tank.
Yeah, he's the tank, right? You just let him go. In terms of like, is he a good guy, a bad guy mobile suit? I don't know. I was thinking maybe he's like bad at first, but then he turns good. Kind of like the Bumble, right? The Bumble's a little misunderstood.
Right. They melt his heart.
His ice cold heart.
And cap his teeth, I think, right? Or remove them.
Something like that. So that's my Yeti Gundam.
This could almost be like the Gundam for like Neo India or like Neo Himalaya.
Yeah, Neo Nepal or something.
There you go. You know what I'm kind of envisioning? Like the kind of hunched, huge, ridiculously sized arms and upper body of the Devil Gundam, Dark Gundam.
Yeah, we definitely have to have like a different silhouette, right? I mean, Yetis and Sasquatches, they're supposedly their arms are much longer than a human's. So longer arms would definitely make sense in this context.
So you imagine it has like a Gundam face? Is it kind of like a monstrous Gundam face or what?
Yeah, you bring up the Devil Gundam. Remember that had like a Gundam face, but a terrifying mouth. So I think it's got to be something like that.
Yeah, as soon as it opens up that mouth, it's got like those snake teeth and stuff.
Yeah. And then maybe for the V fin, it could have the jewel on the fin, but then the fin could also be hair, and it would stand up into the fin mode when it gets angry.
Oh wow, you're not gonna like me when I'm angry. Does this Bumble also bounce?
Sure, why not?
With enough armor, I'm sure it will.
That's my Yeti Gundam, Isaac. All right, hit us with the second one on your list.
All right. This one is a bit of a more, shall we say, underhanded type Gundam. Say it with me now, Brian. It's Gundam Ho-Ho Hologram. This Gundam is a deceptive Gundam, and it fights only using holograms. Just when you thought it was in one location, it's actually in another. It can also, maybe shoot a bunch of missiles, and they all look like ornaments, and there's some that are actually there, but you just got to start shooting at them all. Things like that, Brian. It's a deception hologram-based Gundam.
Ho-Ho Hologram. I like it. What does this look like?
So, I'm glad you asked. To go with the Ho name, I thought it'd be on the short list of, feminine-bodied Gundam. Kind of like Neo Sweden.
Oh, I love it.
Imagine Mrs. Claus, but she's 23. She does Pilates a lot. Zumba every day. That's it. Gundam Ho-Ho Hologram.
I'm picturing her wearing a sexy Santa outfit.
Oh, absolutely. It's a skirt.
It's like one of those big belts that's slouched.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Slouched for no reason. She only has an oversized one.
Oh man, you could fill that series with so much risque pun dialogue too.
Probably. Is that the type of pilot she is? She's just sultry.
Yeah.
Sultry and sassy.
Well, she's got to be a tease, right? If she's ho-ho hologram.
Probably. It's like, you thought, but you didn't see. Nobody sees me coming. I'll clearly do her voice.
It's our low budget. We only have 2 people that can do the voices.
Yeah. So, moving on to the middle bracket now, Brian. What's your next concept?
All right, number 3 on my list. I tried to go a little outside the box this time, Isaac. So this is what I'm calling the Light of the World mobile armor, or the North Star mobile armor.
Wow.
This is inspired by your Christmas tree toppers. So what do you put at the top of your Christmas tree, Isaac?
Well, Brian, we've always put a star at the top because it was a star that guided the 3 wise men to the little baby Jesus.
That's right. We've always put a star too. I think some people put angels, I've heard, but
those people are heretics. They blaspheme. All right.
I tend to agree. But in this house, we've also put a star. So I recently watched the new Suicide Squad movie, Isaac. As you know, the final boss of that movie was Starro, who was a giant star. So I thought, let's do that in Gundam. So basically, It's a giant spinning star mobile armor. So think of how Starmie or Staryu moves in the Pokemon anime, where they like fly around and they spin when they fly around.
Yeah.
A lot of Christmas tree toppers that are stars, they have a lot of lights on them, right? All those lights on the stars, those could all fly off and be either bits or beam cannons, which I think would be fun. And yeah, basically I wanted to act and fly like a UFO, making like sharp stops and turns and just kind of spinning all the way. And it would be very bright in the sky. Maybe part of its attacks is it can get so bright that it blinds the enemy, kind of almost like a mirror. I want it to feel alien-like, Isaac. You know, like the final boss. Like this is the end of the video game.
Wow. How like what scale are you thinking? Like, is this as big as Libra? Is it the Valvaro? Is it smaller? Is it Rafflesia? What are we looking at?
That's a good question. I don't think it's as big as Libra because I want it to be very maneuverable, so I don't think it can be too big. So I'm thinking the Valvaro's probably a pretty good size, Noyazil size. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. I don't think I want to go bigger than that, yeah.
That's impressively big.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's spinning, I want it to hit hard too. So I want it to be able to hit things while it spins.
What I like about this, too, is that we can definitely see that in the series, right? That's very believable that, of course, they'd make a mobile armor the shape of a giant star.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
And send it in a battle.
If they can make the Zachrello and send that into battle, they can. I'll definitely believe a star before I believe the Zachrello.
Yeah, that hideous crab thing.
All right, Isaac, what's number 3 on your list?
My next one has the name Gundam in it, but it itself is not a Gundam. It's a mobile armor. It just specializes in taking on Gundams and destroying them. It's Gundam Slayer.
Oh my god.
And if you think about it, the reason I chose this is because a sleigh, you would absolutely think a shape almost identical to that would be sent into combat as a mobile armor, right? You've got kind of the big kind of cockpit body area. Below that on the struts can be the actual, turbines and engines and rocket propellers. And it just goes into combat and it's filled with just this, this Santa's bag filled with an arsenal of weapons and such that can just annihilate Gundams. It only fights Gundams. That's why it's the Gundam Slayer.
Gundam Slayer. I like it. I'm picturing its bag of tricks, kind of like the Green Goblin's bag of pumpkin bombs, but, full of presents.
Yeah, and you have no idea what's in there. It can deploy the right weapon at the right moment against the right Gundam.
And so just so I'm visualizing this correctly, when you say sleigh, so this looks like Santa's sleigh, like that kind of sleigh, or is this different?
Exactly.
Kind of sleigh? Okay.
Exactly that kind of sleigh.
Can mobile suits ride in the sleigh?
That might be useful. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And I remember you mentioned you didn't like one of the Gundam Seed enhanced pilot's mobile suit that had like the face of the Gundam in the chest of the bird mode.
Yes, that was ridiculous.
So I think going along with that, this will have a Gundam face right in the front of the sleigh. No neck, nothing like that. Just the face mounted into the flat front of the sleigh.
Does it say like "kill me" every time it talks?
It's not sentient, Brian. There's a pilot. Well, knowing whoever made this, because it's a mobile armor, there's probably a crew inside. It's probably like 3 guys that got roped into doing this.
I mean, that's clearly a antagonist mobile suit.
Yeah, I've got one more antagonist one though, and I'm saving the best for last. But what's your next one, Brian?
Okay, so this was inspired by Gundam Wing's mobile dolls, which we just watched. So these are Christmas tree stationary turret drones.
Wow.
And Isaac, I tried to do a little research into Christmas trees here. Did you know there are so many different types of Christmas trees? So over here, listeners, in I'll say the West Coast, we're in California, Los Angeles-ish area. We generally have, 3 types of trees, Isaac? And you can tell me if I'm wrong here. What I typically see at the Christmas tree lot are noble firs, Douglas firs, and I think some blue spruces.
Brian, I'm a synthetic tree guy myself.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to take your word for it.
So I looked up types of trees, and apparently the most popular tree for Christmas is the balsam fir, which I've never even heard of because we don't have that out here. And that's the most popular one. And then I started really doubting myself, Isaac. I was like, have we not been experiencing real Christmas here in Southern California because we don't have the balsam fir?
Apparently not.
But I looked it up. The balsam fir is typically only grown in the northeastern U.S. and southeastern Canada. So obviously that's nowhere near Southern California because we are obviously southwest. So that's why we don't have the balsam fir. But it basically looks pretty much the same as the noble fir. And then obviously, like you said, other people have plastic ones. So we could do a riff on all of them. You could have different types of turrets that look like trees. They could be different colors, different shades of green. Just like the old Ninja Turtle games, Isaac, if you remember, that had, quote, comic book colors. They would change the colors of the turtles a little bit. We could have that here because they would represent different types of the trees.
That's true, now that I think about that.
So these would be stationary drone guards for whatever faction they're on. I guess these are Christmas trees. Would this be like a protagonist faction, Isaac?
I'm not sure, because we have clearly some villainous ideas for Christmas. So these might be the grunts.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
They're the Leos, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe they'll be the good guy versions, and they go toe to toe with the gingerbread Leo.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it could be that. I picture these guarding the base, or guarding all the bases. They just pop out when enemies get in proximity.
You know what they kind of remind me of is I don't know if you remember season 2 of 00 had automatons. You remember those?
I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Except, they weren't mobile suit size, but they clearly were very good at their job.
Yeah, these are like a less malicious, bug from F91, I guess.
A bug that defends people.
Yeah, it's the good guy bug, I guess.
There you go.
I was thinking, all the different decorations on the tree. The most common ones are like bulbs, right, Isaac? So
right.
Those are conveniently shaped very similar to bits and funnels. So those could fly off and become bits and funnels. Thought that'd be fun.
So scale-wise, this is mobile suit size?
Yes. I'm thinking each one is the size of a mobile suit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. So they can't move, or they just tend not to move?
No, I don't think they move. They're trees, so I think the most they do is spin around to maybe deflect beam attacks. But beyond that, they're not going to get up and walk away. No, they have no legs, just the trunk. There's just a lot of them, right? You think of like a Christmas tree lot, You
could almost say there's a forest of them.
Yeah. Some of them are flocked, some of them are not. I did think of the plastic one that you brought up. So in my mind, a plastic version of this, the riff on the plastic tree, is that there are some drones that are just fake drones, and that's the equivalent of those like balloon decoy mobile suits or decoy ships that exist in the Universal Century to throw off radar. Or not radar, but counts of ships.
Yeah. As we famously saw, Shard's counterattack. Look, we have to trust them. They sent an extra ship.
They're so nice.
Of course.
Meanwhile, Shard's like, "You idiot! You miscounted by one."
Yeah. I told you, don't send more balloons. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that guy was like really upset when he let off that extra balloon? They can't pop it. Like that'd look weird.
I don't think he was upset because, they've been fighting the Federation for decades. So they knew there's a good chance the Federation would just buy it.
They've grown accustomed to a certain level of ineptness.
Yeah, it's like when you asked me, how come the Federation had no idea what the Jupiter Empire was planning? I was like, Brian, I mean, it would be really out of character for the Federation to know what was happening or even have an idea.
Yeah, that is my character flaw, Isaac. I overestimate people. I guess I overestimate the Federation as well.
It's one thing to like overestimate the Federation, but you know, your sliver of hope lies in like whoever the Londo Bell or Capital Ship hero team is.
Right. Yes.
Because they'll pick things up immediately and follow that thread to the end of their day.
Praise be for Londo Bell. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, God, they're so good. I wonder how long they existed. I guess I could look it up, but
I mean, did we see them in?
We know they don't make it to G Savior.
True. We didn't see him in Crossbone. I don't think they show up in Hathaway. Maybe that conflict's too small, though, for Londo Bell.
Maybe we'll make our own side story about their end. Gundam Bell, the bell tolls for thee.
For whom the bell tolls.
Yeah, there you go. It tolls for thee, Bright.
Oh, man. Sunrise, you have to use that for the end of the Londo Bell story.
It'll be our side story where we put Bright in the cockpit for once. Wow.
There you go. Although, now that I think about it, Isaac, again, I guess neither of us have read Hathaway's Flash. And going to avoid spoilers here.
Oh, boy.
Does Londo Bell just end after Hathaway's Flash?
I'm going to kind of assume it does, right? Because, well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, I'll say yes, because that's the end of every character that was with Londo Bell, you know? Who's going to come back? Ensign Riddy? Yeah, right.
Who are the spiritual leaders? You know, you had Amuro and Bright, so...
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. All right, Isaac. Those were my Christmas tree drones. What is the most awesome 2021 holiday Gundam on your list?
Okay. These, I imagine, are a squad under the control of one of the Gundam series' original main villains, the sinister and powerful Gihren Zabi.
Ooh.
These are Giren's Rain Fear. What they are these villainous four-legged mobile suits, kind of akin to the ones that were, part of Andrew Waldfield's team in Gundam Seed.
Yep.
Except they're more reindeer form.
Oh, okay.
It's got like 8 of them, possibly 9. And they do his bidding, spreading fear throughout his reign. And his horrible timeline where he came to power.
That is pretty terrifying. Do they dock with the sleigh, with this Gundam Slayer?
That's a possibility. I was thinking about that, but I wanted to engineer them separately.
Right, yeah, that's fair. Fair.
It would work well, though.
Do they have names? Did you name them all?
I assume it would make sense that we use the same names. Right?
Yeah.
Dasher and Blitzen and Comet.
Cupid and Donder and Blitzen. I don't know how many that was. Was that 8?
I think we might have overlapped, but whatever.
Dasher and Dancer. I think we missed those 2.
Prancer.
Yeah. Vixen. I think that's all 8 somewhere. And then, you got to save Rudolph for the end. He's like the trump card.
He might be the only one that has like a mega particle cannon.
In the nose. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I'd like to imagine their antlers are beam antlers, though.
Oh, you got to have beam antlers.
Yeah. But, they went with the 4-legged versions, which, dare I say, don't have the best track record. Say what you will about Andrew Waldfield, but he did lose.
Yes, that's true. I also have to point out that Manger Force was your top selection last year, and that also involved a bunch of 4-legged Gundams.
That's true.
I feel like you're really just trying to bring back 4-legged Gundams. Are you like a closet Zoid fan?
I'm a Zoider, Brian.
Through and through.
Yep, I'm with the purple faction, whatever they were, the bad guys for the 5 seconds I watched Zoid while looking for something else. I was like, all right, these guys are clearly the bad guys. I assume I will associate with them. Do you even remember what Zoids was like about? Were these countries fighting each other?
No, I have no idea. I don't think I ever watched a full episode of Zoids.
I'm curious if it was actually countries fighting each other or if it was like their version of the Gundam fight. It was different like corporations or something just having like sporting events essentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Didn't it air on like Saturday morning cartoon blog? I'm sure it wasn't too political if that's where it was.
Yeah, I think so. It was. I remember it being like half CGI, right?
Yeah, it had a weird like blended animation style, which I think at the time turned me off a little bit, but I wonder how that's aged if you go back and look at it.
I imagine it was cutting edge at the time, and yeah, very much like a reboot, right? Like where at the time you're like, wow, this is pretty crisp, and then looking back, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, early CGI does not age well, as we saw with MS Igloo.
No, but it was a necessary step, as we saw with G Savior also.
Yeah. Or in video games, you see it too, right? I mean, I don't know. I think Super Nintendo games look better than PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah, there's a lot of charm in the bits, right?
Right, yeah. But like, the original Crash Bandicoot's pretty rough when you go back and look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, did we go off on a tangent.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Brian, that's enough of the rain fear. What is your top tier Christmas concept from Ulsa Gundam?
All right, number 1 on my list is, are you ready for this, Isaac? This was something that you brought up last year that
oh boy,
I couldn't believe that I didn't do this, so I did it this year.
Wow.
And it is Krampus Gundam.
Oh, Krampus. Oh, wow, the villain. You saved it best for last. Or maybe not the villain, depending on how you look at it. Ooh, tell us all about it, Brian.
So for those who don't know who Krampus is, he's kind of like this, I'll say evil Santa Claus, just way overly simplify it. It's become more popular in recent years. So they're the children in Alpine countries, Isaac. So this is France, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, Germany, a few others. Instead of being rewarded for their good behavior by Santa, they can also face consequences for their bad behavior by getting a visit from Krampus. Krampus, he's from pagan traditions in Germany, where he was the son of Hel, who was the Norse god of the underworld. There's different rituals that people do in these countries, and one is called the Krampus Run, which I believe I think in the native language is the Krampus Lauf, or Krampus Lauf, maybe, I don't know, where they disguise themselves as Krampus and they parade through the streets. In Austria and Bavaria, Krampus accompanies St. Nicholas as he makes his visits to the children. Krampus has typically been viewed over the years by certain organizations as being associated with paganism, so this and like being like a devil figure. Celebrations or anything to do with Krampus was banned during the Inquisition, as well as by the Nazis. Not to.
I mean, they went out of their way to ban the Christmas Goblin.
I don't know. They were very thorough, I guess, is what I'm saying.
You know what? They're qualified grade A top tier. So sure, of course they would ruin Christmas spirit.
Priorities maybe weren't in the place they should be. As far as what it looks like, Isaac, so Krampus, he's old, so he's depicted in various different ways over the years, but he's usually hairy, brown, black. He's got cloven hooves, goat horns, a long tongue, and he's got fangs. He typically carries chains, and he shakes the chains as he comes after you for frighten you.
Of course.
He sometimes has bells on him along with the chains to let you know that he's coming. He's also got these things called ruten, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which are bundles of birch branches that he carries, and then he occasionally hits the children with them if they were bad. So he
of course.
He also sometimes has a sack or a basket strapped to his back where he stores the evil children. So yeah, I basically want this Krampus Gundam to be very unsettling, very horror-like, with sort of the long hooved feet and exaggerated horns and tongue. Adapting those different accessories he has as weapons is pretty easy. You can put the chains on the Gundam, you can put the ruten on the Gundam. Those can be his handheld weapons. Tongue and fangs can be on his on-suit weapons. Just imagine him attacking with the tongue and the fangs like the Gundam Barbatos did with the mobile armor whip and its own claws. I think that'd be pretty terrifying. I think he should have beam breath. I don't know, that just seemed appropriate since he's very demonic. And I don't know, Isaac, we got to do something with the bag and the basket where he steals children away. Maybe he puts your suit in there and it disables it somehow.
Oh God, is he that monstrous in proportions?
He's definitely bigger, yeah, he's got to be bigger.
Holy shit.
Pretty close to... I imagine him being the same height as the Yeti Gundam from earlier, but being less thick and broad, more, svelte.
Okay.
It's like a demonic, goat or whatever.
That's horrifying.
And with the bells and the chains, you can have an audible element. You can hear the Krampus Gundam coming, with it's like a demonic jingle bells, basically.
And you think, oh, maybe it's Gundam X-MAS.
Nope, it's Krampus.
Yeah. So in our eventual animated version of the Colony Drop Gundam Holiday Special, is he going to be the good guy or bad guy?
Krampus? Oh, he's got to be bad guy.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I always figure that like those figures have like the dual purpose, right? They're like punishing the naughty kids or something like that. So in a way, it's kind of good, but at the same time, it's essentially a demon.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a demon. Yeah.
I don't think it's an angel sent from on high.
No, it's definitely not. So in terms of a plot for this year's holiday special, Isaac, I'm thinking that Gihren Zabi pilots the Rain Fear, docks up with your Gundam Slayer. They use the North Star mobile armor. Those are maybe our main antagonists. Oh, and plus Krampus. Krampus joins forces with them. Maybe that's what it is. You know how the Nazis love dealing in like the occult?
Of course, except for Krampus, apparently.
Yeah, well, maybe Gihren summoned the Krampus Gundam, by accident.
Oh wow! So it's gonna bite him in the ass later.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they team up, and then who's gonna take him down? Gundam X-MAS, the Christmas tree drones. I guess we could have Frosty. Maybe the Abominable Snowman is on their team at first, but then he changes sides. And I guess I can contribute Frosty as a protagonist too.
I draw the line at space fascism.
Frosty's
I'm not gonna. I can't comply with this guy.
There's that comic book where it was like a Marvel vs. DC crossover. Joker found out that Red Skull was a Nazi, and that was it. He ended their partnership. Like, he went over to him and he tried to shoot him. He was like, I may be a murderer, blah, 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 but there's one, I cannot deal with Nazis.
Did you ever see The Rocketeer? That had a similar scene.
I did, but I saw The Rocketeer so long ago, I don't remember it.
The Mafia was like, they'd captured The Rocketeer, and they're like about to hand it over to this German guy. Or no, sorry, to this actor. And like the Rocketeer's like, he's with the Nazis, right? And then they're like, what? And the actor guy was like, well, come on, I'm paying you. Who does it matter who I work for? And they're like, wait. We might not make an honest buck, but we're 100% American. And then like the Mafia teams up with like the FBI, and they like start shooting out the Nazis.
I've heard The Rocketeer is a really good movie. I guess I should rewatch it. But I wonder, does it hold up? Have you seen it recently?
I saw most of it not too long ago, and I gotta say it's very campy, friendly, family-friendly fun. You'll enjoy it. Just go in with zero expectations. It's always a good time when like heroes are punching Nazis.
Maybe that's where we leave you, listeners. It's always a good time when you're punching Nazis.
There you go. When Krampus summoned by a fascist,
especially when there's space Nazis.
Yeah. There's just Gihren and his space Nazis up to no good on Christmas Eve. They got to be stopped by the heroic Christmas Gundam.
Maybe that's what I'll do. When I write the description for this episode, I'll write it like a log line for a film.
Yeah, why not? Like the short summary, the IMDb note.
Yes. When Gihren Zabi gathers his Rain Fear and summons the Krampus Gundam from the other side, a team of heroes stands in his way.
Yeah, along with a slew of space fascist mobile armors. Only the spirit of Christmas can be saved by a team of heroic Gundams.
A jaded snowman, a barely intelligible Yeti, a Gundam that fakes people out as if they're going to die, but really doesn't kill them.
You better believe these double Ds are real, though.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about her. She could be like our Faye Valentine or our Fujiko.
Pretty much, yeah. The sassy one female on the team.
Is she an antagonist or a good guy?
No, she's good, but like, the Catwoman type good.
All right, yeah.
Where she's not going to let you nuke the city, but like, while she's saving the day, she probably stole the diamonds.
Yeah, she's going to loot a little bit on the side.
Yeah, definitely, but like you'll have to turn a blind eye because of how much she helps.
Right. Okay. Got it. Well, that was fun. This really got me in the holiday spirit, Isaac. So
I know. I hope it did too for our listeners. We decided to make it much more narrowed down to just Christmas, but hey, what can we do? Last year you got all the religions.
As Isaac said, if anyone wants to sketch any of these and you think they're hilarious, we would love to see them. I think that'd be funny.
You don't have to be a great artist either. Just have fun with it. Or even your own concepts. Comment below. Describe them or, link a picture if you decided to have some creative inspiration.
Yeah, let us know your top tier holiday Gundam idea for 2021.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Take us out, Isaac.
All right, everybody. Before you go to sleep tonight, stand next to your bed. Put your hands together. Get on your knees. Look up at the ceiling and hail Krampus.
Good night, everybody.